Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, the topic digitization and project management. I guess these two words are known to everybody. The thing about the word project management is that uh, while everybody understands it, but everybody has a different meaning to it depending upon where you're coming from. And thanks to also the Project Management Institute that they have taught us project management in a certain way. So today we are going to try and see how digitization and project management is basically linked with our new product development in pharmaceutical industry. So let me start. Uh, I'm assuming that everybody is from pharma here, and this process, right from when a generic pharmaceutical company have a strategy that which therapies they want to go to, which markets, and what should be my revenue split across molecules of therapies and across markets. So then, based on that, there is a certain molecule selection, product selection, and then it goes into product development, then regulatory product launch, and then when you launch it in the market, there is a product performance. So this process is pretty much known to everybody. Now, the desire for every generic company is three or four things out of this. First, time to market. Everybody wants to reduce their time to market. So, and being a generic company, everybody wishes to have the first to file for that 6 months of exclusivity. So that's, everybody, it's on the radar of every generic company. Obviously, only one wins. And the second thing everybody wants as a strategy, at least it is on paper, if not in execution, is my submission excellence. That what should I do? Because that's the key thing, right? What should I do that, as a company, we attain that? That is on everybody's thing. Third thing everybody wants is that, in terms of my revenue and in terms of my profitability, so how do I, maximize it or optimize it? So that's the third thing which is on this thing. And then comes the operational excellence, right? So cross-functional collaboration, operational excellence across different departments. How do I bring that into it? And while there could be many, but another thing which is especially in the pharmaceutical or any other industry as well, the data part. How do I manage my data so that my scientists, there is a study done and where they say about 60-70% of a time people spend on data management rather than on their main job, what they are hired for. So how do I improve my data management? How do I get that single version of truth? And security, of course, we had a previous session. That is the thing. And the last thing, and one gentleman also spoke about it. He said, actually, 20% is the digitalization, 60-80% is the cultural change. So companies want to bring in a cultural change, that people change management and all that. So they move towards operational excellence. So these are the 5 or 6 things everybody is looking for while they optimize this selection to launch process of their generic molecules. So what we will do is we'll go one by one in these 4 or 5 steps and see what are the challenges companies are facing. So selection of the molecule. Now these are some of the criteria. For example, innovator patent. So how do companies select a new molecule based on, as I said, their strategy, their focus area, and then innovator patent expiry, product exclusivity. And then based on which markets they want to launch, there is a whole process of revenue forecast, and then what is the budgeting for that, and then EBITDA and ROI, etc. they calculate. So that's the second, that is one of the parameters. And the third is market size and competition, API availability, how complex is the formulation. So these are the, the key metrics which everybody wants to track. Now, what happens is during this selection process, there is a lot of cross-functional feedback, right from patent function for there any patent infringement to formulation, whether it's feasible to do this formulation, analytical. Basically, everybody has a feedback as to if we can do this formulation. And all of this process today is done via email or Excel spreadsheets, which makes it very, there is a lot of back and forth which delays this. And also, their ability to see if they have a 5 candidates and they kind of benchmark each other in real time and make the right decision. So this is one of the challenge while selection of the product. And they want to make sure that the selection is right, because this depends, this will greatly influence their future revenues. So after the selection, the next thing comes is the formulation or the R&D product development, and they do the heavy lifting. They basically have to do the entire product development. And formulation, analytical, QC, and clinical procurement. So these people are basically collaborating to get the product out so that the dossier can be compiled. Now, there are a lot of challenges in it, lot of challenges. It starts with, the proper planning. Today, when I look at all the companies, pretty much it is done in Excel. And there is no proper planning or standardized templates that they have to do these 200 activities, right from procurement to, sample making, and then testing, and then scale up, and all those batches till the time it goes to RA. So there is no standardization, there is no sort of checklist. And what happens in this is, when you don't have this, you end up missing out on few things, maybe a couple of documents, which will ultimately delay your submission. So this is one of the key challenge generic companies are facing. The second problem starts with the procurement of API, excipients, or columns and all other things. So today again, it's very, everybody has a procurement system like SAP and all. But the people who need to know, they keep waiting for the APIs and excipients, and this information is not flowing seamlessly. And that sort of start delaying the whole product development. There is no simple way where, the R&D procurement, they are aware when it is going to happen and they can do it. So this is one of the challenge. Then there are a lot of collaboration between formulation, analytical, for example, the sample test request, right? So today, even in very large organizations, very large generics, still is a very paper form. Somebody fills up a paper and then, gives it to analytical. It is still, there is no digitization in it. The reports are sort of lying in different folders, and people are struggling. And then when a formulator gives a request, he doesn't know when the request is going to be tested and he will have it. And analytical people, they have so many requests they're maintaining in Excel. It becomes very difficult to, and then, they say we don't have people, and that comes the resource management problem, right? So, and every department is saying, I can't do so many tests because I have only 5 testers or, 5 scientists. And R&D says, I can't build another molecule because I don't have so many formulators. So there is always people are debating on this resource thing. So that's another very critical issue which comes. And then, of course, the document management. Now, the R&D is preparing the document, but when it comes to dossier sort of compiling it, they always find things missing. Or they find, some corrections in the document and all those things. These documents are not sort of properly organized at the time of product development. And of course, once you file, there may be some quality systems, but during the product development, and as I said, there is no checklist with the R&D that I have to produce this 40 documents which are going to be needed by RA. If imagine somebody knew that, the process would be a lot more seamless. So that is another challenge I see. And then there are some low hang, like risk management, right? Every product development has a risk, starting with the patent infringement and all the other things. While this information is all available with somewhere, I'm not saying that there is no proper risk management, but the challenge is the visibility of it to the right people at the right time, and visibility of the mitigation steps. And so what is happening that, as an organization, I am running huge risk. I am not doing enough to mitigate those risks. So that is one. And then there could be collaboration, workflows, as simple as things like minutes of the meeting, right? So today the entire project is run by meetings. And after the meeting, there is a meeting minutes which people capture. But then is anybody even aware that if all those action items are actually done? And then you have the next meeting, and I see people discussing almost the same things again, as if the previous meeting never happened. So, there are a lot of challenges which obviously, delays the product development, and then my probability of getting that first to file. And there is a lot of stress in the system, and when we are talking of excellence, all this is kind of, is not helping. So those are the challenges here. And if I move to the dossier compilation, and obviously they are largely dependent on the R&D to provide those documents. But I see they spend a lot of time back and forth. Even after the product is given, they are struggling. And this delays their compilation. Then there is a deficiency response, right? So they get, almost every product gets a deficiency letter. So then they struggle to get it respond by the cross-functional team. That kind of delays the response. And again, while they are managing, there is always a champion, a hero there who is doing, but the process is not very seamless. It's not very collaborative. And then that sort of impacts our revenues and what we had envisioned, right? And then the renewals and variations, the change controls, that is always it's always the last minute people are struggling to do it. As I said, the stress. So then the launch thing, again, launch, especially when you're doing for first to file, you are doing all backward planning. And, you are hoping that, RA would go through, we will get the registration, and then we'll be able to launch in time. But you need very kind of detailed precision planning at the time of launch, because you have to get all the procurement done, manufacturing done, all the batch sizes, artwork, and all of those things. And in the absence of a good system who is tracking all these things in a collaborative fashion, it becomes almost a very, very difficult thing to sort of coincide with the registration and be in the market, not even waste one day of that 6-month exclusivity. So these are, the challenges in the launch. And finally, I also want to talk a little bit about, all the time I have seen people are saying, I will go with this product. But how many times, what is the culture where I am also evaluating which are in product development, I don't want to no longer pursue. So there is a pipeline which is being projected, like for example, 25 million. But actually my projects are already delayed. So what I assume will get launched in 2025 is actually already delayed by a year. And I no longer am sitting on 25 million, but it is already reduced to 22, 23. And this visibility, while everybody has an idea, but that visibility in your eyes and actionable insights where you can say, okay, let me save this budget and move to, more higher priority molecules. So as a company, I achieve what I set out to achieve. So that, not only just selection, the deselection or the discontinuation of an existing product is also equally important today, while everybody knows the concept, but the data is not visible in real time. So this is what, what we are trying to show, The green bar is what the revenue forecast is, but it is actually already down to the blue one. So we are seeing the erosion of revenue because of the delay of the product development. And then which are the culprits? So we also can see this. So if this kind of dashboard is available to every management on a real-time basis, then I'm sure we can make that the right decisions of deselection of our existing molecules. So having said this, what's the solution for this? These are the problems I just described. What is the solution? So today, if you look at the generic companies, they already have some IT landscape. Most of them have a ERP solution like SAP or Oracle or the likes of it, where all the procurement and all those things are going on. And then where actually the product development happens, there are a lot of white spaces. It's mostly Excel sheets, what they are using, or emails. So what we are proposing is, there is a PSA solution, which is like professional services automation, where it digitizes your end-to-end new product development process, right from your product selection to your product development to RA and to product launch, and finally tracking the product performance. And in each one of this, if you see, this has all the capabilities which I was telling you in each one of these phases, right from project planning to risk management to document management, and to those workflows which digitizes the workflows between two documents or two departments, like sample test request and so on and so forth. So if this is the one part where all the functionality. Now if you look at the bottom, it has all the right elements for you to do collaboration, to get the insights and analytics, to get the workflow which digitizes your processes, and more importantly, the AI, which, we are hearing it for the last 18, 20 months, what role AI will play. But AI will have no role to play if we don't have the data, right? So the first step in doing anything worthwhile with AI is to have the data digitized. And then, like, for example, some of the use cases of AI, if, with the kind of product we are developing, if AI can suggest me that, in the last 20 molecules of similar molecule, I had these FDA deficiencies, and then you should take care. So this way, our dream of first to file, we'll get closer to it. And then if we take care of it. And slowly you will notice, when we talk of culture doesn't come on its own. I mean, you can give gyan to your people 100 times, but that won't change the culture. I don't think so. When I was in US some years ago, and then people used to say people in US are very honest, they pay their taxes. There is, it's not like India where, you don't pay taxes. And maybe at that time I used to think maybe there is a difference in people, but later I realized they don't have a choice of not paying taxes. I mean, the systems are so strong, they have to pay. And the same systems are now in our country, right? Today, my salary, my even interest I receive from my FD or mutual fund, what I earn, I mean, the taxman already knows that I have to pay this much tax. So I want to be honest or dishonest is no longer a choice for me. And then I go and, sort of boast that I am a very honest man. Actually, I am not. I mean, the system has changed my culture. And now I am sort of bragging it, I am a very honest man. So it is the same thing. If you bring in technology, if you bring in systems, the culture change will happen. Culture change, that impact of just speaking will not change the culture. So I think systems like this will help you change that culture and bring that exponential benefits. I'm from Kytes. We are a enterprise software product company focusing on new product development software for pharmaceutical companies. And, our purpose is, again, it's not the software which is making you richer or generic companies richer. It's the empowerment of your people. and empowerment for your people will happen through systems and softwares where they can take. So these are some of the customers we already work with, the Excel, Elcam, and host of other companies. So that's a little bit about us. And so that's the end of it, and I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Any questions, I'll be happy to take. Yes. Sorry? It's actually a zero code. It's basically a platform where, see, what happens in low code, no code is there is no business logic. It's a blank system, and whereas what we have done, we have built a parallel system to low code, no code, but keeping NPD in mind. So we are very focused. Because whatever you do with low code, no code, I mean, it can do only so much, but when you want to have integrated processes, low code, no code may work in isolation. But when you have to integrate everything end to end, you need more than low code, no code, and which is what we are trying to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.